Do-Rag Wisdom here, folks, and welcome to Y2K 20.05.12. 175 days more until our election day. And a reminder, fake Senate impeachment trial, no vindication, no adjudication, and no exoneration. And please repeat. For your information, 1. I am not one of Turd Trumpenstuppen's quote-unquote warriors. I am going to continue the lockdown until the Democratic governor of New York State, Cuomo, says that it is all clear. I refuse to go out and get this disease and die just so the economy comes back so that Trump, he thinks, will be reelected. One thing is going to finally kill me. I understand that. There's going to be something that's going to kill me one day. But I will be goddess damned if I am going to sacrifice my life now for anything, especially for a thug piece of turd, racist birther, Nazi slimeball like Donald John Trump. May his name be erased. Once again, I am not a warrior or a soldier for traitor turd Trump. 2. My brother and niece's district in Southern California may end up getting a GOP representative in a special election. All the story behind that, you look it up, and it looks like they may, unfortunately, get a GOP representative. We don't need any Trump winners now. 3. Nazi Trump's incompetence has already murdered over 81,000 people with CV19. A little about that later. Sorry about my schedule. This is 4 and the frequency of these broadcasts. I'm going to try to do as best I can. It's a different kind of situation now. Different schedules are thrown together here. So I'll do the best I can. I'm not abandoning you. And hopefully I'll remain alive and well so I can continue doing these for you. The music in the background is from the first season of the acclaimed science fiction series, speculative fiction, Harlan Ellison would say, Westworld. And this is by Ramin Djawadi. Very good composer, excellent composer. Love his music. He did the Game of Thrones too, as well as The Strain. Our main message today. I have total faith that while the CV19 pandemic prevails, the Nazi Trump administration is hard at work using the pandemic as camouflage for the screwing it is going to give all our rights and to our rule of law. If you think that turd Trump and Moscow Mitch McConnell are sleeping right now, if you believe that all the creep is doing is exploding on Twitter, think again. The religious extremist group, The Family, that's a book, by the way, read it, along with rich right-wing business titans and other evil rightist slime, are working hard to see their extremist agenda realized. And if you believe this disease is going to stop them, once again, please think again. As long as fascists control our executive and judicial branches, as long as they control the Senate, they are still capable of rendering our entire country impotent. It is vitally important, friends, that we work together to get the Trumpists out of our Senate, at least. Once we do that, it is going to be much harder for Nazi Trump and his minions to spread their control further. Additionally, once in control of the Senate, Our more liberal brethren may be able to build on something if only all of our nation right now knew the dire straits we are all in. I personally will never recognize the treasonous turd Trump as my president. I outright reject everything that he has been doing to our country. And in the end, if we must go into a second civil war to get rid of this malignant tumor, then let the dice fall where they may. Sadly, I would not want to see civil war in our country. It would make Putin extremely happy for one thing, and it would probably reduce our USA to ash, the goal from the beginning. In the meantime, the fascists, religious extremists, and assorted Nazis are not wasting any time, not waiting to engage in hot civil warfare. Ever since the Trumpenstuppen creep ascended to the highest office in our land, he and his creeps have tried to bully us into submission. They are simply waging a fierce, cold civil war until they finally really decide to use the guns that they are always brandishing, as when they recently invaded the Michigan State House, for example, in a phony Trumpist Nazi protest. Therefore, all of us who love our country and its constitutional democratic republic must pierce the camouflage and regard what this criminal administration is trying to do to us. Beware. 1. Keep your eyes on the cases coming up before the Supreme Court. Presently, they are supposed to decide if we have a right to see Trump's finances. How is it that we allowed this creep to skip showing his taxes and other financial matters while he was running for office? 2. Continue to keep your eyes on this kangaroo court when they decide if states have the right to use trap laws to close down access to abortion. Know that the GOP in this era wants to violate every freedom we have, undermine us, and right now they are working on violating a woman's right to choose as well as our voting rights. More about this in a minute. Don't give them more opportunities to destroy our rights, as these fascist traitors use CV19 to distract us from what they are trying to attempt. 3. We know that because of CV19, there may have to be radical changes in how we vote. By the way, why is Election Day a national holiday? And this means that most of us may have to vote by mail. That is, if we still have a post office by this November. In Y2K06, the GOP was extremely pissed off. They had just lost the Senate and the Congress. It was time, as far as they were concerned, to take some measure of revenge. So these lame duck pieces of slime decided to stick it to the post office with something called the Postal Accountability and Enhancement Act 2006, Y2K06, which forces the Postal Service to fund in advance over $50 million for retirement and pension. All in advance over 9, 10, whatever years. And at the same time, this GOP is crippling the Postal Service with all kinds of other outrages, including, how about undermining their ways to raise extra money? You know, the only way they do earn most of their money, in fact, all of it, most, is through stamps. So when they raise money on the stamps, that's how they raise their money. And I will gladly pay for more stamps if I have to. Higher money. In fact, please support John Oliver. He has a thing going through Stamps.com. That's a private company, ironically enough, but if you're interested, check that out. If you buy stamps, his custom stamps, they're not forever stamps, it helps support the post office. The goal of this fascist, treasonous bunch of cruds is to eliminate our public post office and replace it with private agencies such as UPS and FedEx. In fact, if it were up to the fascists, everything that is now public would be privatized. The Nazi Trump administration, this number 4, has other reasons for wanting to destroy the post office. For one, Turd Trump hates Jeff Bezos and Amazon because they own the Washington Post, a newspaper I subscribe to, which is in the forefront of exposing Turd Trump and the corruption of his GOP. Trader Trump does not like that the post office aids Bezos' Amazon in its deliveries. And he doesn't like the fact that the Washington Post speaks out against him, as I said before. For this alone, Turd Trump goes off the rails. For two, the Turd Trump administration and his GOP want to make it as difficult for us to vote as possible. If there is no post office as we know it, Pennywise Trump, the evil clown, hopes that it would make voting by mail purely academic. Trump has appointed one of his cronies to be Postmaster General, named Louis DeJoy, who is now contaminating a cabinet post once held by Benjamin Franklin. Please keep your eyes open for attacks, further attacks, on our post office over the next months. This vital public agency and part of our Constitution is going to go out of business if we allow Trader Trump and his Trader Trumpists, maggots, to go through with their final phase of this nefarious plan. 5. Let us also remember that Nazi Trump is trying to erase and to revise history. He has his Justice Department to help him now. Here was a government agency that used to be the people's protector in matters of justice, and now under jail bar, this agency only protects Trump right in front of our eyes. Trump and his Attorney General, jail bar, are trying to erase our memory of the Russian probe by starting with trying to force a judge to drop the Michael Flynn case. In fact, because the Trumpist-controlled GOP did not convict Trump in his impeachment trial, they gave the sociopath permission to do as he pleases, including silencing those who want to truly protect us by telling the truth. Check who he's fired within the last several months. And this is a repeat, an important repeat from number 6. As of this broadcast, over 81,000 Americans lost their lives to CV19 because Trump failed to keep his oath to protect us. He is an incompetent, dangerous piece of turd with blood on his little hands that he'll never be able to wipe off. And his Trump assaults do not go away even during this pandemic.